everyone, and welcome to our seated yoga class for Mental Health Awareness Week. Thank you for joining me today. So all you need for this class is a comfortable and steady chair. So an ideal chair would be one from your kitchen or dining table, and if you are a bit shorter like me, you might want to put something under your feet so that you can have a 90-degree bend at your knees. So let's start our class in sitting mountain. So this is our foundational posture that we'll return to throughout the class, and in fact try and keep our body in for as much of the class as possible. Having your feet about hip distance apart with both feet facing 12 o'clock. And coming away, if you're really close to the back of your chair, just come forward a little so that you're not touching the back and you can sit up as tall as you can through your spine. And rest your shoulders down away from your ears. And lift up through the crown of your head. Maybe gently draw in at the navel and pull in your ribs as well. Okay, now we're ready to begin. So let's start with some shoulder rolls. And you can take your arms outside or keep them on your legs. Do a couple more in this direction. And then let's go back the other way. A couple more. And then come to rest your hands towards your knees with your palms down. Okay, so we'll start to think about our breath now and start to move in time with our breath. So in yoga we try to breathe through our nose, and give that a try, but if it doesn't feel comfortable for you today, then of course breathe through your mouth instead. So let's take a breath in and reach our arms just to shoulder height, and breathe out to bring them back down. A breath in to lift, and a breath out to release. Breath in, and breath out. Breath in, breath out, and one more of these. Breath in, and breath out. Now bringing our arms down to the side of the body, we'll take our arms up and down. So breath in to lift, and breath out to release. Breath in, breath out, breath in, and out. This time we'll breathe in, and at the top we'll start to make some little circles with our fingertips. So we'll just go about 4 or 5 times the first direction, and then we'll stop and we'll go back in the other direction. Okay, and then palms down, breath in to turn the palms to the ceiling and reach all the way up. Let's interlace our fingers, palms to the ceiling, and a stretch into the side of the body, and to the other side, and to the side of the body, and to the other side. And releasing your hands, let's take a twist, bringing the left hand behind us and the right hand towards the left knee. And sit tall and breathe in. And then as you breathe out, maybe turning a little towards the left, and perhaps looking over your left shoulder. Now let's breathe in and come back to the center. Interlace our fingers again, reach high. Do a side body stretch to the top. Breath out to the top. And let's twist to the other side. So left hand coming towards right knee and right hand behind, sitting tall. Maybe turning to look over your right shoulder. And then a breath in brings us back to the center. And breath out to float your hands back down to sit in mountain pose. Okay, so now we're going to rotate our ankle joint. So lift up one of your feet and start to take some circles at your ankle, and just notice if there's any clicking or cracking, and just know that it's usual, it's fine. And then let's go back the other direction. Okay, and then can we do some pointing and flexing? Might be a little easier if you don't have shoes on. Great, let's do the other side. So start with some circles. My ankle's more clicky on this side. And then go back the other direction. Great, and then pointing and flexing. And then when you've finished, back to your sitting mountain. Lovely. Okay, now let's bring our feet to touch and our knees to touch, and give our shins, our knees and our ankles a little squeeze together. We'll do our tree posture next. So let's roll onto the outside edge of one of our feet, it doesn't matter which, so that the knee drops out to the side. And sitting nice and tall and breathing in. Have a couple of breaths with hands in front of your heart. And then you can either keep your hands where they are, or you could bring them to your shoulders. And breath in, and breath out. Breath in and out. And then optionally you could take your arms overhead. Breath in, breath out. And then breath in to touch your palms. And breath out to bring your hands all the way back to your heart. And then let's come back to feet together and knees together. Let's do the other side. So roll onto the outside edge of the opposite foot. Get nice and tall in the spine. We'll start here at the heart. 2 deep breaths. And then bringing hands to shoulders. And then optionally taking your arms overhead. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then breathing in. And breathing out to bring the hands all the way back to the heart. And then let's take our hands to our knees and come back to our seated mountain. Okay, we'll do a little bit of hand yoga now. So let's bring our elbows into our ribs and make a little fist with our hands. And let's start to rotate around through our wrists. So you can take these in all directions. We're just trying to move the wrists. So the purpose of having the elbows tight in is to try and keep the forearms still. It's actually quite difficult. All right, let's bring our hands together and interlace all our fingers and do the same in different directions. Okay, let's bring our elbows back in, open out our fingers, stretch them wide, and then let's do some flash hands, opening and closing. And maybe try and catch your thumb inside a couple of times. Lovely. And then keeping our elbows still, let's see if we can just do some windscreen wipers, lateral movements for the wrists. Ooh. Lovely. And then bringing your hands down. Okay, I'm just going to move away the block for this one. I'm going to do our Warrior 1 next. So we're going to do Warrior 1 and Warrior 2 in this class, and we'll start with Warrior 1. So feet hip distance back in your sitting mountain. And then let's take our left leg as far as it's comfortable out to the side. So 12 o'clock and out to the side. And then let's bring our hands to the heart. A couple of breaths here. And then to shoulders. And remember, you can stay at the heart or at the shoulders. And then reaching our arms overhead. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in, palms touch. And breath out, bringing the hands to the heart. Release the hands. Bring your foot in. And let's change to the other side. So 2 breaths here. And 2 breaths here. And then let's reach our arms overhead if that's what you did on the other side. And then next time you breathe in, palms together, and breathing out, slowly bring the hands back to the heart, and release, and back to sitting mountain. Okay, now we're going to do the archer pose, and this is the same legs as warrior one. So let's go back to that wide asymmetric position. And we're going to take our arms to heart, hands to heart, to shoulders, and overhead. Then we're going to bring our right arm forward, make a little fist, bring our left hand to join, and then we're going to pull back an imaginary bow. And then if it suits your gaze to look at your thumb, you could look at your thumb, or you could just look slightly ahead. Let's take a couple more deep breaths, and letting this elbow pull back in space and open up across the chest. And actually you can always look to the side if you like. Okay, next breath in, we'll reach our arms overhead. Breathe out to bring our arms down. And let's change. So palms together at the heart. Hands to shoulders. And arms overhead. Okay, and then making a thumb, reaching out with your right hand, and then pulling your right arm back as if you're pulling your bow. And then maybe gazing to your thumb, or maybe starting to look over towards the right side. Our archer posture. I'm going to look back to the front. Now breathing in, we'll come back to face forward. And breathing out, bring ourselves back to sitting mountain pose. Okay, so let's give our shoulders a roll now. Before we go to our second warrior, we'll just do a little bit of neck stretching. So let's rest our hands comfortably on our legs and come back to sitting nice and tall in the spine, breathing in. And as you breathe out, let's turn and look over towards the left. As far as it's comfortable, maybe you can have a little look over your shoulder. So a gentle twist to the neck. And a breath in brings you back to the front. And then let's go out to the other side. And a breath in, bringing you back to the front. And then let's breathe out to drop our ear down. And breathe into the top. And breathe out to the other side. And breathe into the top. And breathe out, chin to chest. And then breathing in, we'll look forward. And if it feels okay, taking your gaze upwards, shoulders back, lift the heart, and the eyes can move or the neck can move as well. And then a breath out to look forward. And we're ready to do our warrior two now. So let's change the legs again. So let's take our left leg out. And bringing our arms up to shoulder height. Breathing in. And breathing out to look over towards our right hand. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. And then next time you breathe in, looking back to the front, breathing out to bring your hands down, foot in, and changing to the second side. Arms up, and turning our gaze to the left. Shoulders are relaxed, arms are wide. And then next time you breathe in, looking back to the front, bringing your hands down and helping your foot back in. And we're back to sitting mountain. You have a little shoulder roll if you like. Maybe wriggle your fingers. The next posture we're going to do is called Goddess. So for this one, we'll take our feet a bit wider. So let's toe heel our feet. Wider than our hips and perhaps wider than your chair. And then take your toes wider than your heels so that you have a line that's going from your thighs, and then you see your toes in line with your knees. So not too far out, not too far in line with the rest of your legs. Let's start our Goddess with hands at the heart. So remember all the foundations of your seated mountain, lifting up through the crown of the head, and gently tummy engaged. So this is one option, to have your hands at the heart. Another option you might want to do is elbows to shoulder height, fingers towards the ceiling. And wherever you are, let's take another 3 deep breaths. And one more breath in. And if your arms are out wide, bring them back to the heart. Hands to knees. And then let's toe heel our feet back in to hip distance apart. Okay. The next posture we're going to do is a variation of eagle posture. So let's bring our feet back together again and our knees as well. And give the legs a little squeeze together. So just bring everything in towards the center of the body. And then let's cross the left ankle over the right and continue to squeeze the legs together. And then we're going to cross the left hand across the body and the right hand over the left. And give yourself a little squeeze. So imagine you're trying to squeeze everything in towards the center of the body. And while you're squeezing, let's see if we can still breathe. So 3 deep breaths. So squeezing nice and tight and breathing at the same time. And then one more breath in. And as you breathe out, let's start to release. Bring our hands down and uncross our left foot. Bringing the knees back together. So continuing to squeeze in towards the center. And then we'll take the right ankle over the left. Squeeze the legs in. Bring the right arm across the body. Left arm across the body. I think I might have done the arms wrong on the other side. Anyway, squeeze in. It's a bit late for that now. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze towards the center line and carry on breathing. Okay, last squeeze in. And then releasing. Let's bring our hands down and uncross our feet and bring them back to hip distance apart. Okay, so we're just going to start to wind this down now, and we'll move a little energy around through the spine with some cow and cat stretches. So bring our hands towards our knees. So this is the back and forward movement for our spine. As we breathe in, we'll slide our hands in towards the body and open up the chest, shoulders back looking up, And as you breathe out, rounding your shoulders forward, rounding your spine and sliding your hands back towards your knees. And then breathing in to open up the chest and the shoulders. And breathing out to slide away, rounding the spine, shoulders in, chin towards chest. Let's carry on with a few more of these. So moving with your breath, backwards and forwards with the spine extending and flexing. We'll do about 3 more rounds of breath. And then next time you breathe out, we'll finish off with a cat stretch and then a breath in to bring us back to the top. Okay, now let's bring our feet together again, and we'll start with our knees together. And we'll do bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana. So this time we'll roll onto the edge of both of our feet. And you can either rest your hands with your palms down on your thighs, or you could turn your palms up, or you could interlace your fingers and rest them into your lap. So sitting tall, and then either softening your gaze down towards the floor in front of you, or dropping your chin to chest and looking down towards your feet. And we can stay here for perhaps about 5 breaths. And when you've taken your 5 breaths, if you're looking down, you can look forward, releasing your hands if they were in your lap, and bringing your feet back to hip distance. And we're going to finish with some breathing. So for this, you can either stay where you are, nice and upright and sitting mounted, or you can make yourself a little bit more comfortable. So perhaps taking yourself back on the chair so that you can feel the back of the chair supporting your spine. So take a moment to get comfortable for breath work. And you can close your eyes for this if you like, or you can take a soft gaze, maybe looking down. And to begin with, there's nothing to do, just notice your usual breath, not trying to change it just now. Notice your breath coming in and noticing it going out of the body. And then if you like, you can stay with your natural breath, or you can start to take some counted breaths. So I thought today we could do coherent breathing. So that's where you do an equal number of inhale breaths to outhale, exhale breaths. So if you want, you can come with me. I'll talk it up to 4 and out for 4. But if you want to go for slightly longer, of course you can do that as well. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Last one. In, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Now take your time to come back to your natural breath. If you've had your eyes closed, maybe slowly start to open them and take in the light and just become aware of your surroundings again. Let's take our hands to face up and breathe in to reach arms overhead and breathe out to bring them to the heart. So a couple more times. Breath in to sweep up and to the heart, breath out. And one more, breath in, reaching up and bringing our hands into the heart center. Thanks so much for doing this chair yoga practice with me this morning, yogis. Om Shanti. And see you again soon.